In this video, I'm going to teach you how to journalize and post. As I said before, the journal is a diary of transactions of a business. And the steps to journalize is date, debit, credit, explanation. I'm going to say it twice. You say it with me. That third time, you're going to close your eyes and see if you can remember it. Okay, I'm going to say it once. Date, debit, credit, explanation. Now say it with me. Date, debit, credit, explanation. One more time. Date, debit, credit, explanation. Close your eyes. Date, debit, credit, explanation. Okay, open your eyes. Let's say that on October 1, Pete Hanshoe begins business as a real estate agent with a cash investment of $15,000. Well, how do we journalize? Date, October 1. And then now we have to really analyze what's going on here. Pete Henshaw begins the business as a real estate agent with a cash investment. So we know that cash is going to be increased by $15,000. We know that cash is an asset and we increase assets with a debit. So the debit in the entry is going to be cash for $15,000. Okay, so now that we have the date and the debit, let's do the credit. Well, who has claims to that cash? Well, the owner is the one who invested it, right? So it's going to increase the owner's common stock account. And common stock is equity, and we know common stock is not part of aid, so we're going to increase it with the credit. So credit common stock, $15,000. Now notice that for credits, we indent at 1/2 inch. This is very common if we have a handwritten journal. Now, most of the time now, accountants are going to use the computer. And generally, they don't indent the credits, but when you do it manually, you do. And I like that because you can readily see what your debits are and what your credits are. Let's try another one. Purchases office furniture for $1,900 on account. Well, the business is receiving furniture of $1,900. And we know that office furniture is an asset. So what are we going to do to increase the office furniture account? Well, it's because it's an asset, we're going to debit. So that's what we do. Debit office furniture for $1,900. And of course, I guess I should have told you to put the date in first. But there it is. There's your date and there's your debit. Now, when you see the words on account, you think, I'll pay you later, right? On account, I'll pay you later. So you know that when you see the words on account, it's going to affect accounts payable or accounts receivable. Because we are buying the furniture and it's on our account, we owe it, it's going to be to accounts payable. And we are increasing our accounts payable. Accounts payable is a liability. And how do we increase a liability? With the credit. So here we go. Make sure you indent 1/2 inch. Accounts payable, credit at $1,900. Now, you know, as you can tell, I've kind of blown off the explanation. And most of the time, I'm not going to require you to do that. These entries are so simple that you can just look at it and you know what it is. But in real life, a journal entry could be, 30, 40 lines long, and it can be very complex. And so the explanation is really good because 6 months from now, your boss is going to say, well, why did you make that entry? And because it's 6 months later, you go, I can't remember. So it's a good idea to put in the explanation. All right. Now that we have all of our entries in. Let's go ahead and post to the ledger. Now, posting is just the process of transferring amounts from the journal to the ledger. Now, we do this one line at a time. And so I don't bore you, I'm only going to do the first line, but you would do this line first, then you do this line, and then you just keep going down the road and transferring all those amounts to the ledger. Okay, how do we start with this? We're going to start with October 1, and it's a cash account, right? So we're going to make sure we're posting to the cash ledger card. We can put in the explanation, which is owner investment. You know, I would never do that just because it's pretty self-explanatory. I would put it in there if it was an adjusting journal entry or closing entries, but you don't even know what that is, so don't worry about it. Now, where are you getting this amount? See that J1? That's journal page 1. So you're going to put it there, and you know it's a debit to 15,000, right? So we'll put that in. Okay, and then finally the balance is $1,500. Now, what's interesting is we cross-reference the journal with the ledger. We already did it one way with the J1 because this is J1, but we also do it back to the journal. What account number is this? 101. So we're going to put that 101 up here. It's like going to the library and you have a card catalog. So now if I'm your boss, I'm going to look at the journal and say, did he or she post this amount to the journal ledger? Well, I see that you have 101. I guess you did. So I could go to account 101 and see it as $15,000. Okay, so when you put that reference in, that just means that it has been posted. Now, let's say I'm your boss and I'm looking at the ledger and I see $15,000 come in. And I said, well, what's that all about? So I could go back to journal page 1 and see where that entry originated in the journal. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it for journalizing and posting. So I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.